Good morning and welcome to the Daily Download. I'm your host, Brad Nelson, and today is Friday, May 9th, 2025. Here's what you need to know today. A new study from Duke University reveals that while AI tools like ChatGPT and Claude can boost productivity, using them may quietly damage your professional reputation. The research published in PNAS found that employees who use AI at work are often judged by colleagues and managers as lazier, less competent, and more replaceable, even when AI helps them do their jobs better. In 4 experiments with over 4,400 participants, Duke researchers found consistent bias against AI users across all demographics. Managers unfamiliar with AI were less likely to hire candidates who used it, while AI-savvy managers preferred them. However, when AI was clearly the right tool for a task, negative judgments dropped significantly. This social evaluation penalty presents a hidden barrier to workplace AI adoption. Workers may be hesitant to disclose AI use, fearing it will impact how others view their work ethic and competence. As AI continues to reshape jobs, the stigma around its use may be just as impactful as the technology itself. The FBI has issued a warning that cybercriminals are exploiting end-of-life routers, especially outdated Linksys, Cradlepoint, and Cisco models, to install malware and convert them into residential proxies for sale on the 5-SOX and AnyProxy networks. These vulnerable routers, which no longer receive security updates, are being compromised using known exploits and infected with a variant of the Moon malware. Once infected, the devices become part of a botnet used to hide malicious activity, including cryptocurrency theft and cybercrime for hire operations. Some of the threat actors involved are linked to Chinese state-sponsored espionage campaigns targeting U.S. infrastructure. Common signs of router compromise include slow performance, overheating, unauthorized configuration changes, and strange network activity. The FBI recommends replacing end-of-life routers with supported models, disabling remote access, changing default passwords, and applying the latest available firmware to reduce risk. Cisco has patched a critical vulnerability in its iOS XE software for wireless LAN controllers that allowed unauthenticated attackers to fully take over affected devices. The flaw, rated with a maximum CVSS score of 10, stemmed from a hard-coded JSON web token used to authenticate the out-of-band AP image download feature. If enabled, this allowed attackers to send specifically crafted HTTPS requests to execute commands with root privileges, upload files, and perform path traversal. The key points you need to know about this vulnerability are that it only affects systems with the out-of-band AP image download feature enabled. The affected products include basically any of the Catalyst 9800 wireless controllers, embedded or not embedded, and embedded wireless controllers on Catalyst APs. Products like Cisco iOS, iOS XR, Meraki, NXOS, and AirOS are not affected. No active exploitation has been observed, but Cisco urges users to update immediately due to the high severity. There are no mitigations, but disabling the vulnerability feature can prevent exploitation. Admins should use Cisco Software Checker to find the appropriate fixed versions and patch immediately. UK-based education giant Pearson has confirmed a cyber attack in which threat actors stole corporate and customer data, though the company claims the stolen information was mostly legacy data. The breach reportedly began in January 2025 when attackers exploited an exposed GitLab personal access token found in a publicly accessible .git/config file. This token granted unauthorized access to Pearson's source code, which included hard-coded credentials for cloud services such as AWS, Google Cloud, Snowflake, and Salesforce CRM. Pearson acknowledged the breach and stated that employee data was not infected. The attackers allegedly exfiltrated terabytes of sensitive data, including customer records, financial data, support tickets, and internal source code. The company has not disclosed whether a ransom was paid or how many customers were affected. Pearson has enhanced its security monitoring and authentication systems and is cooperating with law enforcement. The breach is believed to be connected to a prior compromise of Pearson's subsidiary PDRI. This incident highlights the ongoing risk of exposed Git config files containing credentials, a tactic also used in other high-profile breaches. Organizations must ensure sensitive data configuration files are not publicly exposed and avoid embedding credentials in code to prevent unauthorized access to internal systems and cloud infrastructure. Venture capital firm Insight Partners has confirmed a data breach from a January 2025 cyber attack that exposed sensitive information belonging to employees and limited partners. The breach followed a sophisticated social engineering attack on January 16th and was initially believed to be contained in one day. The data stolen may include fund and portfolio company information, banking and tax data, personal information of current and former employees, and limited partner records. The firm manages over $90 billion in assets and backs companies like Twitter, HelloFresh, and Veeam. No disruption to business operations were reported, and affected individuals will be notified in waves over the coming days. All affected individuals should change all personal and enterprise passwords, enable two-factor authentication on financial accounts, monitor their bank statements and credit reports, and consider placing a fraud alert or credit freeze. Insight Partners has not been listed on any known ransomware extortion sites, and the attackers have not been identified. Investigations are still ongoing. Apple's U.S. App Store raked in over $10 billion in commissions in 2024, according to new data from app intelligence firm AppFigures. That's more than double what it earned in 2020. U.S. developers made nearly $34 billion in gross revenue through Apple's payment system last year, taking home about $23.6 billion after Apple's cut. Globally, AppFigures estimates Apple took in more than $27 billion in App Store commissions, a number that conflicts with Apple's own previous figures. But that discrepancy is due to Apple counting indirect usage of apps, like when somebody signs up for Hulu on the web but watches on an iPhone. Of the $10 billion Apple earned in the US, about $6.3 billion came from apps and $3.8 billion came from games. But here's the catch. That revenue stream is under legal threat. Following Apple's legal battle with Epic Games, a judge recently ruled that Apple violated a 2021 injunction by charging 27% commissions on purchases made outside the App Store and imposing restrictive link requirements. The new ruling forces Apple to let developers link to external payment options without commissions or scare screens. Developers like Spotify, Kindle, Patreon, and Delta Emulator are already taking advantage. Apple is now appealing the decision, claiming it will suffer grave irreparable harm and substantial annual losses, though many developers argue Apple's high fees were overdue for reform. This ruling could reshape how Apple profits from the App Store, and developers may finally get more freedom and revenue in the process. OpenAI just took another big step towards customizable enterprise AI. The company now allows developers to reinforcement fine-tune its new O4 mini language model, letting organizations build highly tailored AI assistants trained on their own products, policies, and workflows. So, what's reinforcement fine-tuning? RFT goes beyond basic fine-tuning. Instead of just feeding correct answers, developers provide grading criteria, and the model learns to favor high-quality responses. This allows AI to match a company's tone, rules, and factual expectations. Currently, RFT is billed by the hour. It's $100 per hour for training time. Evaluation with OpenAI grader models like GPT 4.1 is billed separately, and it's available now to verified organizations via OpenAI's dashboard. However, it's important to be cautious. Fine-tuned models can be more vulnerable to jailbreaks or hallucinations, so use with care. Bottom line, if your organization needs an internal GPT that understands your systems and language, and you have structured data to train on, this new RFT tool could be a powerful game changer. The Ottawa Hospital is transforming patient care and physician well-being by integrating Microsoft's DAX Copilot, an AI-powered tool that automatically drafts clinical notes during patient visits. After a successful rollout, TOH reports a 70% drop in clinician burnout, 7 minutes saved per appointment, and 93% patient satisfaction with the AI-enhanced experience. Here's how it works. DAX Copilot, bundled with Dragon Medical One, records conversations, extracts relevant medical information, and creates a draft note in real time, all directly within the Epic EHR system. Physicians just review and finalize, reducing their administrative workload and allowing more time with patients. So far, physicians see more patients per shift, administrative time is significantly reduced, patients report more focused and engaged visits, and feedback and performance are tracked in real time via Power BI dashboards. TOH also introduced digital teammates like Sophie, a multilingual avatar capable of interpreting patient emotions and following up after visits. These AI companions help overcome staffing shortages and enhance patient engagement, even detecting when someone might not be telling the whole truth about their pain level. TOH plans to expand AI use into referrals, pre-approvals, and social health factors, and aims to integrate AI avatars directly with Epic to create proactive, not just reactive, care experiences. AI is helping doctors focus on healing, not typing, while giving patients a more human experience. In 2024, email-based cyber attacks continued to dominate the threat landscape and drive significant financial losses for businesses, according to Coalition's newly released 2025 Cyber Claims Report. 60% of Coalition's claims were tied to business email compromise and fund transfer fraud. BEC claims surged in cost, up 23% year over year, averaging $35,000 per incident. Ransomware attacks still cost more overall, averaging $292,000 per claim, though their severity dropped 7% and frequency declined 3%. FTF claims improved, with severity falling 46% to $185,000 and frequency dropping 2%. Even though the number of BEC incidents stayed stable, the cost of mitigation rose sharply due to higher legal fees, data recovery, instant response, and other services. In fact, 29% of BEC incidents led to FTF losses, averaging $106,000. But there is some positive news. Coalition recovered $31 million in stolen funds, achieving full recovery in 12% and partial recovery in 24% of FTF incidents. 85,000 security alerts issued led to mitigation of 32,000 plus vulnerabilities. Early reporting by victims allowed rapid response and government intervention to freeze and return stolen funds. So what are the key takeaways from this report? Well, businesses should be implementing multi-factor authentication and security awareness training. They should also act immediately on suspicious activity to maximize their chances of recovery, and they should be patching vulnerabilities and retire outdated software to reduce risk. Despite rising costs, proactive defense and rapid incident response can significantly reduce the financial and operational impact of these threats. And that brings us to today's tech tip. Don't trust, verify. Business email compromise, or BEC scams, are getting more expensive, with average losses reaching $35,000, like we just talked about. And they're often just the beginning. Nearly a third of BEC attacks lead to fraudulent fund transfers too. Here's how to reduce your risk. Always verify payment requests or changes in banking info with a phone call to a known contact, not by replying to the email. Enable multi-factor authentication on all email accounts. Train employees regularly on phishing and impersonation tactics, and report incidents immediately. Quick action can mean the difference between full loss and full recovery. Cyber hygiene isn't just IT's job, it's everyone's. Thanks for listening to the Daily Download. Today's episode is brought to you by FRCS Tech, your trusted partner in business technology solutions. If you'd like to learn more, visit us at www.frcstech.com, and I'll see you on Monday.